Breaking news, in case you're just now joining us, major discussion on Capitol Hill about the future of House Speaker Mike Johnson, another Republican now calling for his resignation.
That is Kentucky Republican Thomas Massie saying on X, quote, "I just told Mike Johnson in conference that I'm co-sponsoring the motion to vacate that was introduced by Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. He should pre-announce his resignation as Boehner did so we can pick a new speaker without ever being without a GOP speaker."
So a lot to discuss here about the future of Speaker Johnson and how Republicans feel about it. Joining us now, Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. Sir, welcome, and thanks so much for coming on. I know we're going to talk about Donald Trump and his New York criminal trial in just a moment. But first, if we could get what you're thinking about when it comes to the future of Mike Johnson. Do you believe he should remain as House Speaker?
Well, it's good to be with you. First of all, I do think that Speaker Johnson should remain. There's a lot of business that we still have to get through on an expedited process. There's not a lot of time to think about the machinations of the Speaker's office. And so what we need to do is just, let cool heads prevail, be focused on the task at hand, which is still trying to find any way possible to secure our borders in this country, even though Joe Biden continues to ignore our own country, and being supportive of Israel, our greatest friend in the region and one of our longest standing allies as the United States. Those are the two things we should be focused on. The other stuff should be left for later on, not to be dealt with now.
All right, official comment there. And again, Congressman Donald still supporting Speaker Mike Johnson to stay in his role. Let's get back to the topic at hand with you. Former President Trump's historic criminal trial is underway. Day one ending with no jurors picked in the first ever criminal trial of a former U.S. president. We are in day two at the live look outside. It has been a media circus. There has already been very contentious moments. There was a threat to be held in contempt if Trump doesn't appear. Things that Trump has said based on a gag order that is put in place, potential fines as of next week.
I view it as a political charade. I view it as a farce, a kangaroo court, absolute foolishness, hot garbage. Do you need more explanations than that? You have a situation where they took some bookkeeping charge where, by the way, the statute of limitations has expired. They try to weave in something dealing with election law when the FEC said there's nothing to see here, and all of a sudden there are 34 felonies in New York. Give me a break. That is a travesty of justice. And this is about Donald Trump, but it's not. If they could do this to Donald Trump, they could do this to any American. But the truth is, Alvin Bragg would not do this to any American, which means that this is selective prosecution. This is political interference. The American people see it for what it is, and it should not be allowed to continue. You got this judge who said that President Trump can't even go to the graduation of his son. I mean, come on. That is pure spite. It is motivation for them. This is what the radical left wants to see happen. They don't care about justice. They care about getting their pound of flesh, and that is not what the United States of America is about.
Yeah, the judge saying yes, or it depends on where we're at the time of the trial and how things are progressing, whether or not I'll let you leave the courtroom to go to your son's high school graduation. A lot of people online saying, why couldn't you just come out right and say, yeah, you can go to the ceremony here, take one day off? I wanted to ask you, though, Congressman, about how independents and even some Republicans might be viewing this trial.
When you go back through how frivolous and BS these charges are, I think people are looking at it and they're going to say, man, this is all politics and this is all a show, especially considering the fact that under Alvin Bragg's leadership in Manhattan is less safe. There are crimes that they're actually busting down to misdemeanors that should be felonies that they're not prosecuting, let alone the stuff that they don't prosecute at all. This is all for politics. It's all for show. And at the end of the day, the American people know when something is fair and when it is not. If people know that this is an unfair process, it is a process that they basically rigged, even how they're going through the jury selection process, where they're asking if you attended a Trump rally, do you watch Fox News? And if you say yes answer those questions, the district attorney is suspending you from being able to sit on that jury. This is a farce, especially when you put that in light of the fact that Joe Biden, Mr. Master of Disaster himself, will be left in charge to run the country.
Many have been critical of Judge Juan Merchan on this as well, not just the Manhattan DA, as you mentioned, Alvin Bragg, but being critical of the judge because he refused to recuse himself in this case. This in relation to his donations to the 2020 Biden campaign. Also, his daughter, who is a leading Democrat consultant, making money there, has ties to Representative Schiff. Again, many have called for him to recuse himself. The president has spoke today about an hour ago saying that the judge should have recused himself in this. Do you think he's at all getting a fair trial, a fair shake in New York?
I don't think he's getting a fair trial. This judge should recuse himself because, of course, the judge is a partisan. His own political contributions demonstrate that. And look, I know a lot of judges back in Florida. Judges very rarely make political contributions because they have to make sure they can demonstrate impartiality regardless of what's going on. This man is a partisan who is basically presiding over a case where the political rival happens to be the defendant, especially when you bring in the fact that the family's making money as well. This is a joke. So when you bring those facts to light, the American people will see that there's no fairness here. But this is why I make a special plea to the people of Manhattan, the citizens of Manhattan who may sit on this jury. You do not have to be complicit with these ridiculous politics. Look at the case, and if President Trump is innocent, and I'm quite sure he will be proven innocent, then you need to do the right thing, not follow Alvin Bragg, not following this judge, and not following the radicals that have destroyed the island of Manhattan.
All right. First, they got to find 12 people who can be impartial, or at least claim to be, and then those alternates. And we're on day 2, so we got a ways to go. Congressman Byron Donalds, thank you, sir, for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.